Hey guys, welcome to the new wave in real estate. I'm your host, Brady Breinholt, with co-host Chris Harper here. We are just starting this one out. This is our first time we've ever done it, so we're brave enough to suck at something new. Chris, how are you this morning, man?
Look, no complaints, man. Just dropped my youngest off to his first day at kindergarten, and here we are. You can be my emotional support human right now. So that's what we got going on.
Hey, I've got an emotional support t-shirt that says I'm an emotional support husband, so I don't know if I can be your emotional support human too, because underneath that it says do not pin it. So,
Look, hey, there's a lot of angles I almost could have got us canceled in at this first episode, but I'm gonna let it play out. I'm gonna let it play out right there. As I saw the setup, we almost instantly got ourselves canceled. Look, we'll figure something out. Right? It's 2025. Things are acceptable.
Absolutely, man. So guys, really quick, the New Wave in Real Estate podcast is about real estate investing, our experience in real estate, what got us here, the different twists and turns that we've both experienced, as well as another host that'll be joining us here in the next few episodes by the name of Sean Monson. We'll have different guests on, and they will kind of enlighten us to their experience, their ups and downs in real estate, and give us some advice on best practices. So first, I want to take a second and just ask you a few questions, Chris. Is that all right, man?
Absolutely.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up mainly in Salt Lake County, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm born and raised here. So, really anywhere in the valley is where I've been for the time being, but, specifically Salt Lake, and primarily Sandy. Now,
I got Rose Park here in my notes for some reason.
look, that's where it started, right? And Rose Park's not a city, it's a community, but still have property there, still have family there. That's the community I was born in, quite frankly. That's where my mom's home was at the time. And just off of McFarland. So that's always a community that I speak about first when it comes to real estate.
Fantastic. What is it about Rose Park that you like, man?
Community, right? Now, I haven't lived in Rose Park for probably 30 years. Still have, once again, property and things like that, but it's near and dear. I have, it's where my grandmother's house was and grandfather's house. We built that house. So historically, that's been the nucleus of our family, where we all started, growing up, going to grandma's house in the area and still having folks and things like that. You'll never, outside of the Sandlot, you'll never forget about the community and what it is. So for me, it's always been an area, especially for younger folks coming in, that's been affordable so that you can actually own and be able to invest. That's always a great spot to look at, and where a lot of people in our age group really are starting their families and having their families grow up. It's turning into a really nice place to be.
That's awesome, man. And then from there, you went in to play in the university in college football, correct?
Honestly, I was a basketball player, to be honest with you. And it wasn't too long. I ended up playing some minor league arena football when I was fresh out of high school and things like that. Some of the local leagues around here. I had my first son at 22. So by 21, the dream was getting, it's getting bleak. So, at that point, it was time to kind of grow up and just be a dad and figure those things out. But I've always stayed close to it from basically all levels. I've had friends in the NFL, in and out, had friends, family in the NBA all my life. So I've always been connected to multiple levels of sports and multiple different sports.
Awesome. And I know you shared with me that you're a marketer for the pros.
So yes, outside of this, I have another partner and we own a sports marketing company where we specialize in getting athletes marketing deals for their name, image, and likeness. And we've even negotiated a couple college name, image, and likeness deals, right?
Awesome.
So it's something that started with real estate, ironically enough.
And how did that, I mean, give us a little bit of background on that, man. How did that happen?
Absolutely. So prior to joining the brokerage I'm with now, or we're with now, Real, Keller Williams has a sports and entertainment division, which I know there are other brokerages bringing sports and entertainment divisions, but I feel like that was the first and is the largest of real estate niches in the country. And it was a scenario where the opportunity presented itself to work with athletes in this space of named image and likeness. It was more of an opportunity to kind of work with them on like a real estate type of an NIL deal. Like, we'll kind of pay you guys money to market our real estate. Anybody who's going to kind of look at a business plan is going to figure out what works best for them. Rather than pay the guys, I was like, I'll get you paid. Local businesses. We worked with a lot of University of Utah guys, and that just spread out because they weren't from Utah. It spread out across the country. I had a different company at first with a different business partner out of Florida, and that was a really decent time. It was a good learning process, but financially, we didn't have a good enough business plan to make it make sense. And once I did merge over with my new business partner, who's also has a real estate background, we were able to pick and choose how we wanted to run our business differently without putting ourselves in such a hole, but still being able to do services for these athletes and educate them in real estate, right? It's always been a square root of supporting them and educating in real estate. And so that really is what that segment and program originally started was. I was just able to expand and was fortunate enough and blessed enough to have some people who wanted to do something as crazy as that with no experience or knowledge and figure it out. And now we've been able to do certain things and made relationships with people I never would have thought I would have been in a position to do.
That's very cool, man. And so the real estate kind of transitioned you into the marketing side, and then you kind of ended up as a team lead.
So I honestly,
as a real estate investor, right?
Yeah. So honestly, the team lead, I've had my teams now going on. This is going to be my 6th year of being a team leader and owning my own real estate teams. So that started before the sports marketing situation. I've always been in management, in sales. And so I'm always going to view things in a team sense. That's the same thing as sports is, if I can get a team of people around me to do more where I'm not spreading myself as thin as watery peanut butter, that we can do what we need to do. I now have the Titan team, which is, once again, we market ourselves as a sports and entertainment real estate team. As a team, I would consider us to be the premier sports and entertainment real estate team in Utah, regardless of the brokerage.
You guys definitely do some really cool stuff, especially take care of your athletes and your clients that come in. The concierge service that you handle for them is absolutely on point, man. It's awesome.
It's a blessing, right? Because, it's not so much work when it's fun or you get to make relationships or like I've had the opportunity to do some things as a fan that counted as work, but I'm a fan being on the field, and it created opportunities for my kids, right? Like they're athletes as well. And they're on the hunt trying to get to college, looking at it from other people's standpoints and being a part with other people's parents that are going through before me gives me an idea on what I'm getting myself into.
Fantastic, man. And I think you're going to have to trademark the watery peanut butter. Just have to figure out how to use that in every conversation, every podcast going forward.
Look, as long as we can figure it out, look, let's get it, all the people with the money, let's get it done.
And the sounds of it, so do you.
Look, I'm quiet about that.
Yeah, well, so am I. Totally understand, man. Well, I appreciate you giving us a little bit of background on yourself and your family. Obviously, you're still heavily involved with your boys and what they're doing on a regular basis. You're wearing the high school pride shirt there today.
It's actually Clemson. It's copyright infringement when it comes to whoever was doing this, but this is a Clemson Tiger shirt. So we don't, we're a Nike school, not Jordan.
I can't say anything. I just know that there is a school in Salt Lake that has a Bengals pond that's about that same color.
Oh, that's us. We
Yeah, that's
look,
what I
I'm wearing,
figured.
look, we got a little bit of infringement when it comes to, taking
Hey, dude,
Clemson's gear. It just so
it's
happens to be perfect.
it's high school, so it works out just great, right? That's what it's
Happens
like.
to work out. We'll gladly listen.
Yeah, you guys do have that. That school does have a fantastic football program, and it's a good school. It's been around for a bit now.
Right. Yeah. We're trying to
That's
do
awesome.
something.
So I'll give you guys a little background on myself. I grew up on a bison ranch out in southeastern Idaho. So you'll hear me frequently say that I hate from the sticks. Grew up working on cars, fixing stuff, building a lot of fence. I know both sides of the post pounder, the side that goes on the post and the side that ends up on your head. Done it more than once. So you'll hear me see things like, useless as hen crap on a pump handle, the
Yeah.
finest box hair, or happier than a gopher in shop dinner. Just making a
Well,
mess, throwing all kinds of stuff around, man.
are those trademarked?
They should be.
Look, we can get a book of good quotes. We may not have to work so
100%.
hard in real estate.
So I fell in love with real estate when I was about 21, 22 years old, just newly married, and was trying to figure out what to do in life. Got into Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, started understanding the financial side of it. That actually changed my direction in school. I was going to become an anesthesiologist. Instead, I went into finance because I wanted to learn how to be financially illiterate, understand numbers. So I took personal, corporate, and risk management finance, all three at the same time, because it's a gift. That's my other quote. You'll hear me say a lot. I like to kind of overload myself in different things. When I graduated from college, I went down here to Southern Utah and started selling real estate. That was right in 05, 06, 07. You had a heartbeat, you could sell real estate.
Man, look, I wish I would have. 05 is when I got out of high school. I wish I would have got in immediately at that point. I took a couple different turns to get here.
I understand, man. I took a couple of turns after that because 05, 06, and 07 were fantastic.
Yeah.
It really works your perception when you come out of college and you end up on the president's circle for one of the national brokerages and one of the top sales guys, and you're making six figures plus right out of the gate. And they're offering you to buy, they're like, you go to the mortgage company, they're like, we'll give you $1 million to go buy a house. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, guys.
Look, things got weird in those next 2 years, and I fortunately missed it, but I have absorbed it from 23 to 25.
I totally get it.
I felt it. So we're here now.
Yeah. From there, I had the opportunity to kind of be humbled a little bit. I worked for a client of mine running a DHL station, running some logistics stations. And then when DHL made their changes about 8 months later, right in the middle of 08, I moved back to southeastern Idaho, where I ended up driving a truck, hauling potatoes and grain for a while, then became a farm accountant for the largest farm in the Western U.S. Guys, this is where wages were at. It was $34,000 a year. Wow. It was fantastic.
Man, look, hey, you got to get it how you live.
Hey, driving a truck was $12 an hour, $34,000 a year was a step up. And I was grateful for it. I was trying to figure out how to put my family back together, but going from 100,000 plus to 34 was quite the adjustment.
That's definitely an adjustment with families and children, So
had our second one was on the way when all this happened. From there, I got picked up into software integrations and for an engineered order company. So I implemented ERP systems. Anybody that knows what those are, that's basically the software that runs the entire company from beginning to end. Was pretty sure at that point I earned my, what we'd like to call the asshole merit badge. I probably wasn't the most liked guy in the place because there was a specific way things had to be done.
Yep.
But it also got me the title of manufacturing manager. And so I was watching over their pieces. Back about 2016, my wife had a medical crisis. She had a massive stroke after our youngest daughter was born. And I decided at that point in time that during that time, I got my MBA and we were looking for something else to do. And she had a stroke. So I kind of just stayed where I was at, but I was pursuing some other entrepreneurial dreams in the automotive side and the parts and product side, because I've always got a thing for cars, man. I'm a car guy.
Look, when I rebuild my Chevelle,
We're going to have some fun.
take care of me now. I've got to get a few things. So
We had a lot of fun, and I still love that. That's my kind of my Zen moment. I go outside when I get stressed out, I'll be laying under a car, and I get a lot of phone calls from partners and investors, and they'll hear something drop in the background. I'm out there still working on stuff, man. That's kind of my disposition.
yeah, see, I'll tear a car up since I can drive it. I can't fix it.
That's all right. I product test until they break, and then I improve.
I mean, I get it. You know, look, there's all sorts of things that make us smile. I just break shit.
That's what I mean by product testing.
Yeah, I know. Look, but you improve it. It just gets broken and left to the side. It's over.
Well, unfortunately, you're right. It does get left on the side of the house, much to the chagrin of my neighborhood.
Yeah, look, they know my heart. Know my heart over here. So
yeah, but it does give me the chance to, generally speaking, I get cars dropped off, or teenagers will come over and they'll ask for some help putting their cars back together. So we have a lot of fun that way. My 15-year-old, well, my son's now 18 and 15. He and I did a motor transmission and transfer case swap into a truck. He took it over to his high school and their automotive shop, and then he and I would work on it after school and put it back together. So it was a lot of fun. We're dedicated, Chris. It's a problem.
I mean, I'm proud of you. Because me personally, it just doesn't work out like that. But one of these days, I'm learning as I age, never say never. So,
come down, bring your boys. We'll have some fun, man.
Be there in 3 weeks.
I always got a project car, that's for sure. Or 2 or 3.
Be there for a game, but we'll pull up on it.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Cars.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've toned it down over the years. It used to be a little more dramatic. I still swap different motors into different cars and that kind of stuff. But that kind of ties back into the real estate side, because I can't leave anything alone, man. I'm always adjusting, tweaking. How do we make this better? That's kind of just the way my mind works. It's what I lay awake at nights thinking about.
I mean, I think that's the only way you can do what we do. Because if you get stuck in your ways in this business will change on you and you'll be in a bad spot. You got to adapt.
One of the really cool things, and I heard you mention it a little bit earlier, is that ability to see the opportunity and move through it. Mine's to find the little tricks from other people. So if you know anything about working on cars, you'll find guys that are like, hey, you have to do it this way. You have to, on a Ford Power Stroke, you have to pull the cap to do this. And then you find the guy that's like, no, actually, you just undo these 4 bolts and you get to everything.
Right.
So that's kind of what this podcast's about, is those tips and tricks that we've learned, through our years of experience. After my wife's stroke and moving down to St. George, I became a real estate agent with my stepdad, who was a developer for 35 years down here. Was really grateful for him helping me get things started back up and moving forward. I started doing development on my own up in southeastern Idaho. We built 7 houses up there. One thing I've learned is managing real estate from a really far distance away is extremely challenging, no matter how good you are and how many people you have around you. And then that actually inspired us to become commercial funders. So we started putting deals together for other people, and then I actually became a principal in a mortgage company. Kind of have a little bit of a background of the whole real estate gamut, right? I'm the real estate agent, been the real estate developer, been the house builder. I had my GC license at one point. Back in 2022, when the interest rates changed, I had about $8 million in hard money loans that I'd lent out to other people, and 70% of those went into default. I owed $8.8 million in debt to my investors and started to repay some of those. And then, thankfully, my investors decided to work with me on those payments and making sure that they stayed with us through the whole process. Currently, we have one more piece of their property still tied up in Salt Lake. It was a Breinholt last year. So I call that one my mess to masterpiece.
Right.
Had a gentleman take a substantial amount of money for the construction budget on that. Learned a lot. And now I do a lot of my own investing back in the Midwest, here in Utah, when the opportunities present themselves, down into Southern Florida. background out here in Nashville, have looked at some opportunities in Nebraska, and then also innovate on the construction side on how we can build and create homes more affordably and faster and efficiently for our younger generation and people
Well,
that are getting scared.
no, and that's, that's ideal because, as we're giving people advice, one of the good things is that experience is there, right? People are always in a scenario of like, well, have you done it? Right. So if I'm going to give you my money, and you've never done this, or successfully or not, one way or another, like because things do happen. Right.
Yep.
And how did you navigate out to still be above water, to still have, trust within people who gave you $8 million, that, people disappear for less. Right. So,
Yeah.
to be able to navigate, and problems, most importantly. And I think that's a lot of the stuff that we'll add to these episodes is, okay, yeah, you're in a position. How do you react? Right. I mean, I think majority of things in life is, how do you react? If you continue to react a certain way and it's negatively and it brings you down, then your results will continue to be the same. You can find positives and, change your interests in different ways and adapt. That's the point we want to get across to our audience, so that, one, people can see us as a group to problem solve with, ask us
100%.
questions and those types of things. So that's ideal.
Yeah, we won't necessarily have all the answers for your specific situation, just based off of our experience. And that's why we have kind of the group that we do. Everybody's got their own different experience. Chris is absolutely incredible in what he does in every aspect of it. In fact, if you guys want to see some of his handiwork, our website is Chris's group's handiwork. We'll continue to tweak and adjust it over time, but it looks absolutely phenomenal. Definitely not a canned website, definitely higher end, definitely beautiful. There is absolutely incredible opportunity. And then the options that we are going to, be able to bring up as we talk about different investments we've been involved with, myself, Chris, Sean, other guests that we have come on. Just remember that, guys, we are professionals for ourselves. We're not tax professionals. We're not legal consultants. We'll talk about the importance of having that set up and structured right, but we're not licensed to discuss any of those things. So we'll bring on those experts, have them talk to you.
Right.
That's our disclaimer that this is not investment advice, nor legal advice, or accounting or tax advice. Please consult. Check with those professionals for your unique and individual needs.
There we go. Get that Miranda out. I don't need to be sued. I ain't got that kind of money.
Chris, thanks so much for spending the time with me today, man. I'm looking forward to introducing and understanding more about what you've been through, what our other group people have come on the group's been through. We have a massive list that we started putting together of different episodes that are going to be coming out. Everything from, when's the right time to invest, keeping it simple. What do you do when everything goes wrong? What's the difference between syndications, funds, and a joint venture, and which one's right for you? We'll be giving away tools. We got our community starting on newwave.real estate. So whether you're looking for deeper, in-depth conversations, we're going to be available to you guys that way as well. So yeah, looking forward to making this move forward. What else you got for us, man?
That's pretty much it. I'm excited to get out there and have these types of conversations. And also we're active, right? So we're in the middle of doing these exact projects that people want to know about in Utah and outside of Utah, in those same states that we mentioned. So we'll cut it here, but look forward to, the next episode next week and putting out the information that comes from it.
Yeah. Then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, first week, second week of September, you and I will be out looking at some of these sites. I don't know if we're going to still be in that city at that point in time, but if so, maybe we'll take them on a tour of a couple of projects we're working on.
Absolutely. Looking forward
Something
to it.
like that, man. All right, Chris, appreciate your time today, man. Looking forward to next week.
You too. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, man.